Amanda, Sophia is moving in with us next week, Marcus said casually over dinner, as if it were nothing important. It's time we all learn to live together. I put down my fork and stared at my husband of 8 years. He kept eating, acting like he hadn't just said something shocking. At 35, he was still as handsome as ever, but the smirk on his face was something new. I must have misheard you, I said, keeping my voice calm even though my hands were shaking. Did you just say your mistress is moving in? Marcus sighed, looking annoyed. Don't be dramatic. Sophia isn't just my mistress, she's important to me now. And since you refuse to divorce me without taking half of everything, this is the solution. I thought about the security cameras I had installed 6 months ago. And you expect me to be okay with this? He laughed coldly. Yes. You don't really have a choice. The house is in my name, I pay the bills, and you can't afford to leave. Sophia thinks this is a reasonable arrangement. Of course she did. She was only 24, fresh out of college, working at Marcus's law firm. She probably thought this situation was modern and exciting. What makes you think I'll stay? I asked, pushing my plate away. Marcus smiled. Because you're practical, Amanda. That's why I married you. You know divorce would leave you with nothing, no house, no security. This way, you keep your comfortable life. I stood up and started clearing the table. And what does Sophia's family think about this? They don't know yet, he admitted, checking his phone. And they won't until we decide to tell them. Her parents are very traditional. I nodded. Traditional enough that this news might cause a scandal. I kept that in mind as I loaded the dishwasher. When exactly is she moving in? I asked. Next Saturday, he said. I expect you to help make her feel welcome, clear out some closet space, fix up the guest room. I thought about the USB drive in my desk full of video footage from our security cameras, footage of Marcus and Sophia together in our home, discussing their plans, their future, and how they would push me out. And if I refuse? I asked. Marcus's expression darkened. Then things will get very difficult for you. Accepting this is your best option. I smiled. You're right, I am practical. I picked up his wine glass and walked to the kitchen. I'll start on the guest room tomorrow. He chuckled. See, I knew you'd be reasonable. If only he knew how reasonable I had been these past 6 months, gathering proof of his affair, saving money in a secret account, and hiring a private investigator. Later that night, as Marcus slept beside me, I reviewed the dinner footage. The hidden camera in a light fixture had captured everything perfectly. His smug attitude, his threats, his confidence that I would just accept his plan. I opened my laptop and started writing 2 emails. One was for Sophia's parents with video clips attached. The other was for Marcus's boss, who happened to be a close friend of my father. But I didn't send them yet. Timing was everything. Just then, my phone buzzed. A message from Sophia. I hope Marcus told you about the new arrangement. I'm really excited about this. I took a screenshot and added it to my file. Poor Sophia. She thought she was in control, but she had no idea that Marcus had done this before, or that I had been planning my own move. Unlike his last wife, I hadn't wasted time crying. I had prepared. Marcus was right. I was practical. And on Saturday, he and Sophia would find out just how practical I could be. For now, I would play along, letting them think they had won. After all, the best traps are the ones you don't see coming until it's too late. The week leading up to Sophia's planned move-in passed in a surreal blur. I watched Marcus excitedly prepare the guest room, buying new furniture and bedding that matched Sophia's aesthetic. He even had the audacity to ask my opinion on color schemes. The pale blue would suit her better than the gray. I suggested helpfully, knowing that every credit card charge was being documented, and maybe some new curtains to match. He beamed, completely missing the irony. See, I knew you'd come around. This can work if we all try. On Thursday, I overheard him on the phone with Sophia, his voice soft and intimate in a way it hadn't been with me in years. Baby, wait until you see what I've done with the room. Amanda's been surprisingly cooperative. She's even helping decorate. I smiled to myself as I added the recorded conversation to my growing collection. That evening, I met with my father's friend, Richard Thompson, the managing partner at Marcus's law firm. Are you sure about this timing? Richard asked, reviewing the documentation I brought. Once we move forward, there's no going back. I nodded, thinking of Marcus's smug certainty that I would simply accept his humiliation. I'm sure. Everything's in place. Richard studied the evidence, videos, text messages, credit card statements showing gifts and hotel stays, all meticulously dated and organized. Marcus always was ambitious, he mused. But this, involving a junior associate, planning to move her into your home, it's beyond unprofessional. The board meeting is next Friday, correct? I confirmed. Yes, when they'll be announcing partnership promotions. Richard's expression was grim. Marcus has been the front runner. Such a shame if something were to derail that. Friday evening, Marcus brought Sophia over to show her the renovated room. I heard their excited chatter and giggles floating up the stairs as I sat in my office, finalizing my preparations. Amanda? Marcus called out. Come down and say hello properly. I descended the stairs, finding them in the guest room. Sophia stood there, young and beautiful, wearing an expensive dress Marcus had probably bought her. She had the grace to look slightly uncomfortable. Amanda, hi, she said brightly, as if we were meeting at a coffee shop rather than in a home I shared with her lover. The room looks amazing. Thank you for being so understanding about everything. I smiled warmly. Of course. We're all adults here, aren't we? Would you like some wine? We should celebrate. Marcus looked delighted by my suggestion. Soon we were sitting in the living room, an absurd parody of normalcy as they shared their plans for cohabitation. I'll keep my things in this side of the closet, Sophie explained, wine making her chatty. And maybe we could work out a schedule for the kitchen. Absolutely, I agreed, though I'm usually not home for dinner these days. Work keeps me busy. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Since when? Oh, I've taken on some new projects recently, I said vaguely. Speaking of which, Sophia, how are things at the firm? The partnership announcements are next week, aren't they? A shadow crossed Marcus's face. Let's not discuss work. But Sophia was already nodding enthusiastically. Marcus is definitely getting it. We've already started looking at houses in the better neighborhoods. Once he's partner, we won't have to live here anymore. I watched Marcus wince at her indiscretion. He hadn't wanted me to know about their future plans, probably worry I might cause trouble before his promotion was secure. How wonderful, I said, raising my glass. To new beginnings. Later, after Sophia left, Marcus turned to me with unusual sincerity. Thank you for handling this so well. I know it's not ideal, but you've been surprisingly mature about everything. I touched his arm gently. We all make choices, Marcus. We just have to live with the consequences. He looked slightly unsettled by my response, but quickly shrugged it off. As he headed upstairs, I sent 2 emails I prepared earlier. The first to Sophia's parents, the second to the firm's board members. Then I called the locksmith I'd arranged and confirmed our appointment for tomorrow morning. Saturday dawned bright and clear. Marcus left early to help Sophia pack, promising they'd be back by noon. At 9 a.m., the locksmith arrived to change every lock in the house. By 10, the security company had updated all the codes. At 11, a moving company I'd hired arrived to remove everything Marcus had bought for Sophia's room. Right at noon, my phone started buzzing with messages. First from Sophia's mother, then her father. Next came a flood of emails from the law firm's board members. Finally, Marcus himself called, his voice tight with panic. Amanda, what did you do? I settled into my office chair, enjoying the morning sunlight streaming through the window. I made a practical choice, darling, just like you taught me to. His next words came out as a snarl. You had no right. Actually, I had every right. I cut him off. But we can discuss that when you get home. Oh wait, your key won't work anymore. Funny how practical decisions can have such immediate consequences. I hung up, knowing this was just the beginning. But for the first time in months, I felt completely in control. Marcus had taught me well, sometimes the practical choice is the one that hurts the most. The fallout was spectacular and immediate. Sophia's parents, outraged by the video evidence of their daughter's affair with a married partner at her firm, pulled every string they had in their social circle. By Saturday evening, the scandal had spread through their country club faster than a summer wildfire. Marcus's phone calls became increasingly desperate as the hours passed. You've ruined everything, he shouted in his last voicemail. Is that what you wanted? I didn't respond. Instead, I watched through the security cameras as he tried his key in the front door repeatedly, growing more frustrated with each attempt. Finally, he rang the doorbell. I opened the door but blocked the entrance. Can I help you? This is my house, he snarled, trying to push past me. Actually, I held up a document. The house is in both our names. Check the deed. And as a co-owner, I have every right to change the locks when I feel my safety is threatened. His face went pale. What are you talking about? I never put your name on the deed. No, you didn't. But your assistant did, 3 months ago, when you asked her to file some routine paperwork. You really should read what you're signing, Marcus. The realization hit him like a physical blow. I've been preparing this moment for months, carefully orchestrating every detail while he was distracted with Sophia. The partnership, he started, won't be happening. I finished. The board wasn't thrilled about the videos of you promising promotions to a junior associate in exchange for personal favors. Apparently, that violates several ethical guidelines. Marcus slumped against the doorframe. You recorded everything. Of course I did. I learned from the best, remember? You always taught me to be practical. Just then, a car pulled up to our house. Sophia jumped out, her face streaked with tears. Marcus, my parents know everything. They're threatening to report the firm to the ethics board if I don't quit immediately. I smiled pleasantly. Oh good, you're both here. That saves me some time. I handed them each an envelope. These are copies of everything I've documented over the past 6 months. Every conversation, every threat, every penny spent. I've already sent copies to the firm's board, Sophia's parents, and my lawyer. Sophia opened her envelope with trembling hands. You planned this? No, you both planned this. I corrected her. I just made sure there was a record of everything. By the way, Sophia, those designer bags Marcus bought you. He used our joint credit card. I've reported them as fraudulent purchases. Marcus's face had turned an interesting shade of red. You vindictive. Careful. I warned. The cameras are still recording. They stood there, these two people who had thought they could simply push me aside, looking lost and defeated. Sophia was the first to break, running back to her car in tears. Marcus watched her go, then turned back to me. What do you want? He asked, his voice hollow. I want a divorce, Marcus, a fair division of assets, including the house you tried to keep from me. And I want you to remember something. You didn't lose everything because I was vindictive. You lost it because you were careless. Now, please leave before I call the police. I closed the door on his stunned face and walked to my office. There, I opened my laptop and smiled at the email that had just arrived. A job offer from a competing law firm. They were quite impressed with my attention to detail and strategic thinking. Over the next few weeks, the story unfolded exactly as I'd orchestrated. Marcus was asked to take an indefinite leave from the firm. Sophia resigned and moved back in with her parents. And I kept the house, started my new job, and finally redecorated the guest room the way I'd always wanted it. One evening, as I enjoyed a quiet dinner alone, my phone buzzed with a text from Marcus's previous wife. I heard what happened. I wish I'd been as smart as you. I thought about responding but decided against it. Instead, I raised my wine glass to the security camera in the corner, my silent witness through it all, and smiled. Sometimes the most practical solution isn't the easiest one, but it's always the most satisfying. 3 months later, I ran into Sophia at a coffee shop. She looked smaller somehow, less confident in her designer clothes. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I don't know what I thought. You thought what he wanted you to think, I replied. The difference is I stopped believing his stories long ago. As I walked away, I felt nothing but relief. Marcus had taught me to be practical, to always choose the sensible path. He just never expected me to use those lessons against him. The divorce was finalized in record time, with Marcus agreeing to all my terms. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about being angry or vindictive. It's about being smarter, more patient, and yes, more practical than those who try to hurt you. In the end, Marcus and Sophia taught me something valuable. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time, and make sure you have it on camera.